Hey, what's up, all? Alan here with Nature's Love Farm. So today we're getting ready to process our birds. We have about 10 going today, and I just want to share with you what our setup looks like. Is it the greatest setup? Maybe not, but it works really well for us. We've done up to 25 and 30 birds, and we could probably handle more than that. And we typically do it with about 4 of us between the different stations. But let me just go ahead and show you how our setup works. So this right here is our dispatch area, where we're going to take the birds and we put them upside down in the restraining cone, and then we can dispatch them. So right here, what we have is I pick up one of these plastic tablecloths from Dollar Tree, and we put them up kind of just to protect the area. Really easy to take that down and just get rid of it once we're done with. These restraining cones, you can buy ones online. They're about 30-40 bucks each. I built all these from flashing that would go on a house, roll them, and just rivet them. Very easy to do, and it was about $20 for, I actually got 5 or 6 cones out of it. The next thing we have here are some of these bungees. So when we put the bird upside down, we just tie this around the feet to keep it in place there so it doesn't try to jump or move back out. Sometimes that will happen if you watch other videos. So those work really well. A little bit further down here, we have these ladder clips from the dollar store, as well as these black buckets and bags. And this is really great to catch anything once you dispatch the bird. If you don't use the bags, you would probably want to put like Dawn soap and some water in these buckets to make it easier to clean later. But this whole setup works really well for us. So once the bird has been dispatched, what you need to do, you just let it sit there for about 2 minutes or so, and then you're going to bring it over to our scalder here. Now, we've done one of the electric scalders, like the turkey fryer, but just used it with water. It was a little bit, it worked okay, but a lot of people say use the propane one. So we have the propane one set up here, and you're going to get this up to temperature, and then you'll bring the bird and you'll dip the bird. That's going to help remove the feathers. Next step, after it's been scalded, you're going to bring it over. So we have our plucker. You can do this by hand. Probably don't recommend it, but this is our yard bird plucker, and it's easily handled birds that were like 8 pounds. So you turn this on, spray the water in there. It's going to move the bird around, and it's going to take off, I would say 95% of the feathers. It works really well within only a few seconds. Sometimes you may have to pull it out and put it back into the scalder again real quick and just run it again, but typically it's good to go. So once that's done, you have pretty much a naked bird. You bring it over to this station. Now, this is a fillet station for fish, but it works really well. You can hook it right up to the garden hose. And then we have a bucket down there for any parts or anything like that. Because what you're going to do at this station is you're going to poop the bird. So we haven't fed them for 24 hours, which is recommended. They have water, but no actual feed, because you don't want their crops full and their stomachs full and all that, because you're going to be dealing with a lot of just gunk that you don't want to do. So that way it makes it easier. But what we do here is we start to wash the bird off, just clean off anything else, pull any additional feathers. We will take off the feet here because we don't use the feet. Some people cook them for dog treats, some people eat them. We just discard them, and again, we have a black plastic bag in right here. We just throw it right in. So again, once that's done being all cleaned out, then the next step is we're going to take it over to this station here. So this is the butcher station. Now, this table, even though it may look kind of interesting, it has been sanitized and cleaned. And we do like to use these from the dollar store as well. They're just like little cutting mats. When you're done, you can get rid of them. We do have some gloves there, which are highly recommended if you want to use them. If you're afraid of cutting yourself with these sharp knives, you can always pick up those no-cut gloves, which is also really nice. Have a sharpener, which you definitely need to have, as well as these baking pans, which we set up for the different parts. If we're going to part out the chicken later on, or any of the innards that we want to get rid of, we do have some buckets underneath. Now, another tip on this: these tables are relatively low, and if you're going to be doing a lot of birds, your back is going to be killing you. So what a lot of people say is pick up these things right here, which are for bed risers, and just put the table up on it. You probably have to level it out, but it works really nicely. Now, we do have a few different knives here. This one is the typical fillet knife that I think we picked up from Walmart for a few bucks. But this one here, I will put the link below. We love this from, it's really not that expensive, and we use this for all the stages from dispatching to butchering. The biggest thing is just keeping those knives extremely, extremely sharp. So once that session is done, what we're going to do, that we're not cutting it up at that point. We're just taking out the insides. So you want to do that. You want to go back, clean it off, clean out the insides, and then you want to cool the bird down. So what we have here is we have an old freezer, and we fill it with water. There's no ice in it yet, but that has also been cleaned and sanitized inside. So we clean that, fill it with water and ice, and then you let the bird cool, usually for about an hour or so. And then once that's done, then we're going to bring the bird back over here, depending on what we want to do with it. And we're either going to quarter it up, we can half it, we can whole, or totally break it down. Now that's all depending on what you want to do and like how you like your chicken. So that will be almost the final stage. So that's all taken care of that. And then this part here is pretty much bagging it up. Now we tend to like these heat seal bags, which they're the poultry shrink bags. So you put the poultry or the chicken in it, and then you take it back over to the scalder watered that's been cleaned, dip it in there for a few seconds, and it's going to shrink that bag. And there's a little straw in there with it that pushes out the air, and it is good to go. We've done some of the other ones with the air where it pulls it out, and it just doesn't work as well. Too much wet stuff going on, I think, so it doesn't work really well. And then once that process is done, you are pretty much ready to get cleaned up. And the other thing inside is we're going to take all that chicken that's been now in the bags, we're going to put it in the fridge probably for about 2 days, so it gets past that rigor mortis time. And doing that will help soften up the meat. Our first mistake was actually taking the birds and throwing them right in the freezer, and we ended up with some. They were still good, but they were a little bit more on the chewy side. So if you've experienced that in the past, definitely let them sit in the fridge for about 2 days, and then throw them in the freezer. You're going to be much more happy with the outcome of the taste and texture of the bird. So that's pretty much our setup. Are we looking forward to doing this? Not really. I don't think anybody looks forward to doing this. Our biggest thing is we know where these birds have been. We've raised them since being 2 days old from when we got them, and we know what we fed them. So we ultimately know what we're feeding our family and our friends that are doing this with us. So thank you so much for watching this video, and we hope to see you